Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Theruvan Saranai, Avasarai Swamin Wahansa. I'm Asini. On behalf of Visakians of New South Wales, we cordially welcome you all to the first Dhamma session of the Mindfulness series. Please note that this session is being recorded and the recording will be published in Visakians of New South Wales YouTube page. The second Dhamma session of the Mindfulness series will be held on 28th of August. So today's topic is meditation as a tool to lead a successful human life. This Dhamma session is conducted by Venerable Kalubowila Amathagaveshi Thero. If you have any questions, please ask them in the chat box and Thero will answer those at the end of the session. In order to start today's session, I would like to invite Sajutha, the President of Visakians of New South Wales, to give an introduction of the Thero. Over to you, Saju.
Thank you, Asini. Sadhu. Garthara Kalubowila Amathagaveshi Swamin Wahansa Ataram Sangaratnayan Avasarai Sadhu. My highest respects to Venerable Kalubowila Amathagaveshi Swamin Wahansa. Swamin Wahansa, I feel very privileged to welcome you on behalf of the Visakians of New South Wales today. We are very thankful, Swamin Wahansa, for your kindness in accepting our invitation to deliver the sermon on mindfulness, meditation as a tool to lead a successful life. On behalf of New South Wales, Visakians of New South Wales, I welcome everyone who has joined us today. I would like to mention a few words about Venerable Amathagaveshi Thero by way of introduction. Swamin Wahansa was born and had his schooling and grew up in Sri Lanka. Swamin Wahansa had a lengthy and successful working life and renunciated the lay life after retirement. After Swamin Wahansa's ordination as a Buddhaputra, Swamin Wahansa studied Dhamma Vinaya with special reference to Tranquil and Vipassana meditation at the feet of late prelates such as the most venerable Na Uyane, Arya Dhamma Mahathero, and Balane Amathagaveshi Nayaka Thero. Swamin Wahansa is the principal advisor of Dhamma Parayana Foundation of Colombo, Sri Lanka, and is the principal advisor and co-founder of the Hammadura, Kurunagala, Sri Lanka, and also is the founding trustee of Kurunagala, the Hammadura Trust. Swamin Wahansa, I welcome you to deliver your Dhamma Deshana on mindfulness, meditation as a tool to lead a successful life. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Everyone, Saranai. Before we start the session, let us venerate Lord the Buddha. Guna Ratana Nidanam Asama Samalokanakam Paramaruchira Kayam Sabbalokuttamam tam Amata Siridadantam Sabbaloke Padipam Sugata Maha Mudaram Buddharajam Namami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear faithful devotees of Visakians of New South Wales and the affiliated participants today for this Dhamma session. The subject today, what we would spend the next 2 hours is on mindfulness and meditation as a tool to make your life successful. Especially we decided to discuss on meditation in details as the whole world is moving towards a crisis due to this pandemic. And life-threatening, this sickness is pervading the entire world. And so many people are losing their loved ones. And the sickness is at the doorstep of almost every citizen of the world. And people are very stressful due to the fear of death and sickness. So in trying times like this, Buddha Dhamma usher a lot of solutions to the human being to find solace and to find calmness within yourself. So today, of course, before this session, the team has sent me some questions, and therefore I decided, rather than going directly into meditation, clarify certain of these questions. The questions were, what's the difference between mindfulness and meditation? What are the benefits of mindfulness? What are the benefits of meditation? What are the types of meditations? And what benefits tranquil meditation brings, and what benefits vipassana meditation would bring. Those are the major questions which we would try to answer through this discussion, what we would have at the beginning. When you say mindfulness, in this session, we may use a lot of Buddhist terminology, and even in the meditation to follow, we will recollect the virtues of the Buddha. So if there's any participant who is not a Buddhist by faith, you are free to reflect upon whatever divine or whatever object you believe or faith you believe, and reflect on such holy personalities during that time of reflecting time. We call it anupassana in Sinhala. So, and also once the real meditation starts after the discussion, when I have to interrupt, I'll always say 3 times sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That means one of the meditation subjects are coming to an end. That's an indication you to get yourself released from the earlier concentration you had on that particular subject. So that's as a benchmark. Then moving to clarify those questions. First, when we try to discuss and understand how meditation is going to help as a tool to make human life successful, before that, we need to understand certain terminology used by Buddha to elaborate and to make it user-friendly to the participant. So number 1 is chitta in Pali, or consciousness in English, or sita in Sinhala. What is consciousness? It divides all phenomena into consciousness. We can place all phenomena under the word of consciousness because there are various terms used in Dhamma called Cheta, Mana, Vijnana, Adaya, Manasa, that although there are different terms used, remember all that refers to consciousness. Now for the lay person to understand how this consciousness generates, the simple way is to understand all of us, we see things through the eye. We hear things through the ear. We odor, we take through the nose, taste to the tongue, and the touch is from the body. And all such consciousness arising from those sense doors is understood by the mind or the brain, we call it physically, if we have to refer to a physical object in the body. So we call it in singular, dana gannava. You know that you are seeing. You know that you are tasting. So the whole world, this whole world with all this phenomena is grasped through the consciousness. Now, that's very important to note that before going into meditation and see the difference between mindfulness and the meditation. Now, apart from the sense through the consciousness one creates through the sense doors, there are times that you keep thinking. Thought comes into you. Then you remember things. We say, mata matakai, mang hitua, or you say, I just spoke about you. I just thought of you. Or about your childhood, your mind runs into childhood. Sometimes you can remember even what you wore, eat, drink, wear, and things like that. Now, all that is created through the mind itself. It's called manasa visin nirmane karana. That's the mind. That's no outside sense coming in, but within the mind itself, your mind runs to the past and the future the same way. So even something is you thought of, you think of, you remember, all such mind activity also comes under consciousness. It's not a different thing. It comes under consciousness, all what you think, you remember, and all these things. So then remember, this mind is a thing that it doesn't end with one thought. Now we think you are seeing it. Now that mind is, we are seeing it. That's all. Then we listen, that thought is gone. No, it doesn't end like that. According to Buddha and according to even the latest science, all consciousness is a mind process. There's a process, like you take a creeper, the new leaves doesn't come from the root. It comes from the end of the creeper, at the end of the creeper. So like that, any thought is a process. We call it chitta vidi in Pali, or we call it cognitive series. That's a bit of a heavy word, don't mix it up. Cognition, people who are in the medical field or who have done psychology and things like are familiar to this term. But cognition is the process of perceiving and understanding. Now, there's a way mind works. We'll tackle it later when it comes to Vipassana session at the next Saturday. Today we are dealing with only Tranquil Meditation. So therefore, remember, a chitta doesn't end just there. It links up to, it keeps linking one process to the other. It's an unending, fast-moving situation is this mind, chitta. Generally, it's very difficult to grasp that speed through the human normal things, the calculations we have to judge time. The lowest time unit we use in day-to-day life is second, 1 second. Of course, there are nanoseconds now. The world has gone into nanoseconds, which are much smaller units. But take the unit that we are used to, second. So what's the speed of the mind? Speed of the mind is 30 million times. It happens during a second. Can you grasp the speed of that? 30 million times for a second. Mind keeps changing into small units. That's how that process is being formed, or that's how it arises. Or in other words, you to understand some more closer, fastest thing in the universe is the light. It travels, if I am not mistaken, people who study science more, please correct me if I'm wrong. For a second, it runs into about 135 to 45 miles per hour. But if you take the speed of the light, the mind works again 299 million times more than that for a second. So it's very close. If you take the fastest thing in the world, the light, and even you take the second and compare with the speed, it's nearly 300 million. That indicates how fast it is changing. Therefore, if your brain is scattered, please understand, when I say scatterbrain, we call it sometimes when people don't remember, they keep mixing up it. We call it he or she is a scatterbrain because your mind keeps running. Now, this is nothing wrong with any human being. This is the nature of the mind. It keeps grabbing information from all the sense doors throughout our life, and it keeps generating either kusal, lakusal, either wholesome thoughts or unwholesome thoughts, or sometimes the mediocre in between, upekha sahagata, sit nativen. So this is a lifelong process which is happening faster than the light. So no human being, unless your mind is calm, unless your mind is into concentration, that a person cannot study the nature of the mind. That's exactly, dear devotees, why human beings give whatever the 24 hours you have, the priority is given to look after the body. Now take for a day how many things you do to look after your body. You wash, you clean, you dress up, you eat, all the stuff around the house, just see, all that is to make your body comfortable, or that's all that is for the body. Just think how many times a day we treat our mind in that way. I don't think some people, for their entire life, they would spend even 2 seconds looking after the health of the body. Now the world is changing with nearly 4 million people dying with this entire sickness, and so many 22 billion people are getting affected. People are now serious thinking, hey, what's happening around? So they're worried about the thoughts and the wholesome and unwholesome and things like that. Therefore, in a nutshell, I'm not taking very long to explain this whole sequence because we have limited time. Understand, consciousness is called the entire process of your mind. Various words in Buddhism it's explained, but remember, it is mainly the perceiving factors you have through your sense doors, and having learned, and also very important is mind doesn't just expire and finishes off. It's a process. As I told, Chitta Vidi cognitive series, which is happening at connecting up at the end of the process with another process. So it's a continuous thing which is happening. And in a nutshell, to put it very clear, consciousness, mind, is a flux of the universe. When you say flux, what is a flux? A thing which changes fast at all given time is called a flux, which is keep changing. Remember that also. Mind is a flux of the universe. So other word, it's an energy. It's an energy. So therefore, however much people are explained through Dhamma sessions and all, very rarely one takes time to understand what this mind is. But mind is the thing which leads us to frustration, which leads us to happiness, unhappiness, and stress and everything under the sun. It's not the body alone. So that's it's for consciousness. But when you think of consciousness, there is another side of the coin that is subconscious. We call it bhavanga. Actually, English term is not very 100% suitable there. When you say subconscious, whatever books written in the world, it shows that that is another side of the brain, mind. No, according to Buddhism, it is nothing but explained as the foundation condition of existence. Foundation condition of the existence in Pali, bhava. That has some link to your entire past samsara. And having nature of a process, it's again a mind process. And the best time we talk of subconscious is when we go to sleep. Now, when we go to sleep, he said, your mind is in subconscious. Yes, that's true. Even in Buddhist terms, your mind gets to subconscious, but whatever mind activity you had during the day links with that and works it out as a dream. That's what most of the dreams you can't remember by morning, because this is just the brain mind activity linking with the subconscious. So remember, we are going into some more deep. At the time of death, don't get scared, but at the time of death, depending on the wholesome and unwholesome volitions, the chetana, intentions, present immediately before the death. Now, nobody could explain because only near to death guy who is near to death experience can explain this. Otherwise, that person is dead and you can't explain. Only a Samma Sambuddha or Arahat person explains the finer details of that. So at the time when a being is expiring or when he's dying, the intention, what he has, is reflects on previously performed good and the evil. In our entire life, one of the evil or good things what we perform arise as kamma, that is action, kamma nimitta, sign of the kamma, or the future existence, gati nimitta. It indicates good or bad deed which comes in, and kamma nimitta will say you have killed somebody, you have murdered somebody, that weapon or whatever you use, or if it's a wholesome thing, we'll say you have built something and offered to the sasana or charity for a poor, or you have been looking after the sick person. Now that, whatever you use to perform that is called, if you see such things, you call it sign of karma. Then gati nimitta is, it's an indication by various fires, flowers, and various things where you would be born after that death. So whatever it is, relevance to subconscious, that's exactly the gati, the karma, the sign of it, and the action of it, sign of it, and the future existence, that creates that subconscious. So when a person is reborn at the time of pratisandhi, or the reborn consciousness, rebirth consciousness, which starts with that essence of bhavanga or subconscious. So this is where human beings don't understand. All of us carry that bhavanga chitta at the beginning, and that had the flavor of our habits and our ways and all what good and bad, what we have done in the samsara. That makes your personality. That's what even you bring up your children with, 4 children with equal facilities. The 4, thinking of the 4 is different. The mentality of the 4 is different. Your mentality of the husband and wife is different. Father and mother is different. Your best friend and you is different. Why? And sometimes even meditation, you keep 100 sessions, some people can't understand. Nothing wrong with the sermon or Dhamma. It is that person's, that subconscious, which this whole life, the consciousness started, has that flavor that he has not practiced in the past. There was one question raised by Sajota, was, have you got to meditate to attain this higher state of Nibbana? I will answer it at the time of Vipassana meditation. Answer is no sometimes. That's because for some who have a very good high standard of this subconscious from your previous births, there are times mentioned in Dhamma when Buddha is giving a sermon, listening to it itself, they attain the holy status. So on. You take this Sariyut Mogala, they were young two lads who was indulged in music and going from town to town because the parents was rich, but they want to find out what is liberation. When they met Assaji Rahatan Vahanse, the few words he said, I am a monk who have ordained recently. I don't know Dhamma much, but as far as I know, Ye Dhamma Hetu Pabhava, my master declares the cause and effect of the universe, and Dhamma Hetu Tesam Hetu. And he also teaches you how such phenomena arises and passes away. That's all. That's all the sermon. It's not a 2-hour sermon, just 2 hours, 2 minute sermon. But what happened? Sarut, as a young lad, attained Sowa. Did he meditate at that time? No, he didn't meditate at that time. So such stories, there are a lot, but I will not take time. There are princes, princesses, kings, and so heads of armies, and who were doing acrobatics, all these things. And Bahya, who met on Buddha on the road, just few words spoken, they perceive the truth. That, if you keep analyzing, what is the skill they had? Had they gone to a university? Had they taken a degree on this? No, it is that subconscious which comes to you, which establishes in you at the time of your conceiving in the mother's womb. And that's after conceiving, it goes to rest. And moment your umbilical cord is cut, you start feeling the pain and this thing. Moment crying, you start crying. Then the senses start working. And what we spoke of consciousness start building up. When you say consciousness, that's exactly what I spoke a few minutes back. Through the senses, that kid takes responses, and from that moment, subconscious goes into sort of, it's wrong if I say hiding, it gets to the subconscious state. But the beauty of it, or the difficult thing one to understand, is that subconscious always exists between two stages of consciousness. Since it's faster than light, 300 million times, 30 million times, a normal human thinking can't grasp it. Buddha grasped it with his universal knowledge he gained through the Buddhahood. He saw this. Otherwise, however much, even I try to explain it up to 7 o'clock in the night, 2 hours, and you will not gather it, because humanly it's not possible to grasp the subconscious moment of the mind. But remember, there is something called subconscious, and that is the architect of our personalities, other than what we learn and train ourselves in school and young days. Other than that, the core behavior we have, either I'm a person who gets angry for a little thing, or I don't know how to love and care, or I'm so sort of grumpy, or I am very greedy about food, or let it be this sexual desires or whatever it is. That is something we inherit. Now, a lot of people don't talk about that in meditation. And අපි කියනවා සිංහලෙන් පැලස්තර දානවා. We try to patch it up. We try to patch it up because we don't want to talk about it. That's because our human mind, brain, can't catch that very tiny moment. But he is the rascal, remember. He is the rascal who we sometimes say, I don't know why this child is behaving like that. I can't understand why my husband or wife is behaving like that. Sometimes you can't simply understand. That's because even that person can't say why. That's because that's something coming from Bhava Sansara, and that's the most danger Buddha saw in this so-called Bhava or existence. So I trust you understand subconscious very well. Then there is a term called Chaitasika. Mind, it's called Chaitasika, mental things or mental factors or mental formations. What are these things? Those are the concomitants which bound up simultaneously, arising with conscious. To cut it short, a thought doesn't come up at once. Your mind, if you see an object, not that consciousness arises at once, that's how we feel. But there is a mind moments, mental factors called feeling, perception, and mind formation, and then only the consciousness side. Only in Buddhism that this was explained, not through any other theory in the world. It's not consciousness. There are like brothers who would help that consciousness to arrive. Vedana, Sanya, Sankara. In Pali, in English, feeling, perception, and mind formation, then the thought comes. Now, I see Sajota. Earlier, I didn't know Sajota. Somebody was contacting me. I thought this is a crazy lady from New South with this NSW. But to see, she said, no, sir, I'm so and so, I'm New Visakhi and something. And so one day she spoke, and when she came on screen, what happened? My eye, through I have not met her personally still. I saw her on the screen. What happened? There, my eye, moment that shadow came with the light, if there was no light on the screen, I would not see. So to see, always there should be light. And I saw her. And I know it's a lady. How? That's a feeling. My eye caught that image. That's how fast did it catch? It's 30 million times more faster than the light. So it's amazing. It's amazing, this whole process. So then after that, what happened? I perceived that's a lady. It's not a gent, it's a lady. It's not a very rackety old lady. It's a lady, a young lady. No, Sajota will have to pay me something for calling a young lady. But anyway, so like that. Then thereafter, what happened? Sajota went out from the screen. But my mind factors kept that image. Those mind factors, if it created, Sajota is a worse person. I should not see. I get mad when I see. Or as a priest, I will not mention that. But if I'm a lay person, I'll say I get excited seeing her. All those things, either you hit against or you like it. Who made that? Was it you? But we think we made it. No, it's a mind formations which brings the liking or hatred or whatever. Those are called defilements. Keles ekdas pansiyak buduhamduruku our mind එක spoil කරන. There are 1,500 such mind formation in the akusal list, and there are some more in the kusal list on the good deeds. Like you see your parents, what happened? You feel so much of respect. You feel that we should look after them, we love them. Now, all those are all mind formations. So remember, Cetasika is something, mind formation factors, you can't separate it from the, when you say mind, it's bound to consciousness. So some people try to split hair on that. How come it's a Cetasika? What is mind? What are two things? We get into a whole jargon of intellectual, you understand, soup. Don't do that in Buddhism. Buddha said, never make it a sort of a pudding out of all these words. Be careful. So it's consciousness, the mind, and now you understand how it works. And there is something called subconscious, also working fast, and you know the speed of that. You know why you and I can't grasp it. And there's called Chaitasika, mind formation. Now, mind formation, Buddha gives a very good answer. We'll say Sajota gets out from a house. And if there's an apple tree in the garden, I don't know whether she has an apple tree or she's in a flat or condominium. If there's a garden, there's a tree, she wants to go near the tree. So from the first doorstep, she's moving towards the tree. Then what's happening in reality? She's moving away from the house, but getting closer to the tree. But if you really analyze, she's going towards the tree. So she can't be separated from the house, movement from the house. Neither you can't separate her getting closer to the tree. There's a process what's happening, which taking her towards the tree. Exactly like that, the mind formation works. It works together, remember. So to talk of mindfulness, now we come to mindfulness. Now we know consciousness, we know subconscious, we know it, what mind formations are. Then what is this mindfulness? What is mindfulness? In the wider sense, one of those mental factors inseparably associated with all karmically wholesome, that is the good side of thinking, and karma produce lofty consciousness. Don't get worried with these heavy words. Or whatever, in a wide sense, it's a mental factor. It's not consciousness. Mindfulness is a mental factor which links to the good side of thinking. Now, when you scan through the Dhamma, when you say 4 foundation of mindfulness, Satipatthana, I hope Visakhiyans are used to this word, Satipatthana. Mindfulness of the body, Kaya Anupassana, mindfulness on the feeling, mindfulness of mental formations, mindfulness of the consciousness. What that means, one gets into details or understand very well, perceive what the material form is. How do you do that? Being mindful about the process. That links to meditation. These 4 mindfulness, 4 foundations, Satipatthana. Then there are something called 5 spiritual faculties, 5 powers. That is faith, effort, mindfulness, concentration, wisdom. Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Prajna. Those are all what you and I could build within ourselves. Those are powers, we call it, mental powers. Then we call it spiritual powers. Then we call it spiritual faculties. You can't buy it from a supermarket. You can't get that while you are in a party or something. You get that when your mind is calm. When your mind is calm. So remember, those are 5 powers and 5 faculties are a training in the mind. Then you have 7 factors of enlightenment, bodhjhanga. When one develops mind, there are factors of enlightenment. What he develops with it, what is that? Number 1 is mindfulness, then is investigation, and then is energy, then is happiness, then is tranquility, then is concentration, and finally equanimity. Now, those are at higher stage of meditation or vipassana. I will explain such things at the vipassana session. Then, you know, Arya Marga, the path to liberation. In that, the seventh link is mindfulness. So, remember, mindfulness is associated karmically with the wholesome things, with the consciousness. You understand? That has two aspects. What are you doing at the moment? You are watching a screen, and unless you fall, if you fall asleep, it's night in the Sydney, if I'm not mistaken. For me, it's evening. I'm not sleepy, but you could be sleepy. Listening to a boring monk, you will fall sleepy. Then what happens? Then, if you fall asleep, then what happens is that's the point where mindfulness has lacked. Your mindfulness has lacked. When you drive, if Sajota is driving, I hope she's driving, she will not go against a lamppost, or she will not run over a person crossing on the yellow line. How does she manage it? That's through mindfulness. When she goes, sorry Sajota, I'm taking you as example, you are the only known personality on the screen. I hope you don't mind. And the next thing is she goes to kitchen. If she's not mindfulness, God bless the people who have that dinner or lunch. So like that, your mindfulness. We'll say you are young, you are dating your fiance. If you're not mindful, what happens? When you, during your dating time, you are very mindful. Only after marriage, you find out the real essence of it, because both have behaved very mindfully. Whenever you meet, you give the best out of you. Only after a few weeks of marriage, you find out, my God, these are the true colors. That's because we are all mindful. You go to office. Most of the time, you're mindful. You are doing statistics or you're doing a report. We'll say you are doing a presentation at a convention. You are mindful. Now, I have to be mindful of what I say, because there was a set of questions and there was a subject given. So just because meditation, if I land at once to meditation, and various people belong to other religions could be participants, they may not understand head or tail. So therefore, I have to be mindful of each word that I come. So that is the mundane mindfulness. Don't mix up that with the mindfulness mentioned in Buddhist texts when it comes to understanding what the mind is. Now, that's why we made this discussion subject mindfulness. So just as the day-to-day mindfulness, with your education getting developed, with your life experience, what happens? We are more mindful. That's how we tell the children, hey, look here, don't do that. Don't do that. You're going to fall in trouble. How do we do that? Do we have a sort of a crystal ball to show what's going to happen in the future? No. It is through this sort of mindfulness which you have spent years and years, you have gathered some experience. So same way, mindfulness in Dhamma is the fact of you are mindful about your mind. That's the difference. You're mindful about the mind. The lay mindfulness is on the activity you are mindful. Here, your mindfulness exactly comes through the wide sense as a mental factor, how you are very conscious about a certain subject, mainly related to the functions of the consciousness or your mind activity. I trust this is understood. So your first question was, what is the difference between mindfulness and meditation? Let's move into meditation. Now you're clear what mindfulness is. Let's move into meditation. What is meditation? This is a more exciting world now. It's a very marketable word now in the world. The world is full of crisis, stress. Which all science developed, this tiny virus is hitting us left, right, and center. We are all wearing masks, distances. The whole Sri Lanka is locked down today. And there are hundreds are dying at this moment in hospitals. All hospitals are, all the crematoriums are working 24 hours. And so what's happening? And our loved ones part, and there are times, yesterday a lady called and kept crying that her mother passed away and she couldn't even not see the body. She had to go because they're quarantined at home. They couldn't, Ane Swamin Mahansa, Ping Anumodan Karanda, please convey merit to her. It's very, very touching. There are thousands, it's 4 million have died in the world. So that's the numbers who are in grief, who are sad, who are tormenting sometimes. Parents are gone, children are orphaned. I mean, it's worse than war. That's exactly the word called meditation comes in. Meditation is mental development. Now, Sajota must be going to the gym. Why? To develop the mind or develop the body. That's or Sasha or something, your son just introduced. He may go to the gym. Why? He wants to develop his body. You may go to the beautician. I forget these terms, manicure or whatever it is. I don't know whether the term is correct now. I've lost with lay terms now since I'm a priest. Why do you go to all these salons? That is to develop your outside look so that while working, midst your friends, your personality is shown up. You could be distinguished. Why your whole cupboard is full of clothes, but go to the next wedding, why Sri Lankan women wants another sari? Just check with that. The cupboards are full, there are thousands of saris, but you want a new dress. That's exactly because wants and needs are unlimited. Why your mental situation is wants are unending. Needs are unending. Why? All this is not done because of the body. It is this rascal, which is called mind, who has to be controlled. We learned it faster than the light, 30 million times more. So when the mind is, as you know, from the day we are born up to the end, we spoke of the last moment, karma sign, karma sign, and where you are going to born, all such things are mind related. Not that your body doesn't do that, mind does it. So such a way, even up to the last moment, who is jumping like a monkey from tree to tree is this mind. So unless you develop the mind, your mind will be a monkey throughout, and moment your mind is a monkey, it's jumped from one life to the other, we call it samsara. And according to the wholesome, unwholesome, what I told, those signs and all, you keep being born in either in the hell or divine world or hungry ghost or animal, or it could be anything. People still laugh at it, but it's high time to understand that is there. When you and I eat so well at home on a dining table or whatever, there are millions of mothers don't know what to cook for dinner or what they should cook for tomorrow. And millions don't have a roof under them. When you go to sleep, check today, when you sleep, there's a roof over you. There are millions of people who don't have. There are more than 2 billion people in this world who are suffering from this sickness. They don't know whether they could see light tomorrow. Such a situation. That's all because your mind keeps grabbing. That's samsara. Once you are born, jati, jara, vyadi, chuti. If you are born, you keep decaying until your mid-age. I'm sure Sajota didn't know until very late that the body is decaying. Otherwise, young times, you look at Sajota's son, I just saw him very young, popping up young guy. You don't see decay. But later only one day he will see his gray hair is one hair is gray. Like that it starts, your skin starts wrinkling and your organs start decaying. So therefore, if you are born, all these things do come in, and therefore this occurring it over and over again comes because we don't develop our mind. We don't develop mentally. We spend a lot of time to develop physically. So that's the subject which is called meditation. Now, you can't just jump into meditation. Although this session is mindfulness and meditation, you can't just jump into meditation. Buddha very clearly said, there is called something pariyatti. Pali, English, study provides the guidelines. You have to study Dhamma, read what you are doing this session. Now, I would have started just meditation if I want to show that I'm expert of meditation. But first, you should understand the terms that we are talking. The questions make it very clear. There are more than 6 questions which I'm answering now through this session. So unless you understand, you can't proceed to develop mentally, because you understand he's a very fast-running creature. Unless you are very calm and cool, you can't grab the guy, you can't get hold of him. So therefore, to start meditation, one has to study Dhamma or listen. Now, Visakians of New South Wales is giving the best gift. I call it best gift, what they could give to the world in a crisis time like this. Useless talking of parties. We can't have parties, we can't get together. Everything is taught. Even you can't go to a shrine where you believe that your God is there. All temples, churches, everything is closed in Sri Lanka for now nearly 6 months. So where are these divine who were there? How are they surviving? Devotees are at home, they can't come out. How much we pray, this sickness is taking life. So it's a good moment to think. And the best gift that I say that Visakians of New South Wales given, not because they invited me, it is very timely because the world is burning. World is burning. Natural, you know what happened in Europe with floods. You know the hailstorms. You know the bushfires in Australia. You know how the temperature goes up there. So all those things, how mud splashes, you call it. You saw how many earthquakes for a week. Thousands are dying. So in this catastrophe, the best gift is because we are talking of mental development, which is not available for sale in any other designer branded shop that you are visiting. Are we clear on that? So therefore, meditation comes with study first, then comes patipatti. Now, what we spend these few hours today and next Saturday, you have to put it to practice. Now, that's something we forget. Because this sensual world is keep on occupying me, unless that subconscious friend whom we spoke, that you have sharpened the skills in your previous births, always you listen to a Dhamma, you chat with friends, and that's the end of it. You go to a meditation session, attend, come home, you're back to square one. So therefore, number 2 with patipatti, you have to practice. What happens when you practice? When you practice, it breaks through to realization. Now, that's the catch of it. First, you study. That leads you to guidelines for practice. And when you practice, it breaks through to realization. And realization is called prativeda. So this process of meditation, it should be followed in this context. Study, practice, and realize. Otherwise, this session will be just a Dhamma session. But New South Wales Visakians, your next project is to through some survey to find out whether Visakians of New South Wales are meditating or whether they are still at the study stage, or they are at the realization stage. Next year, if I live to talk to you, then that time all Visakhans should be at realization stage if this session is used. So therefore, that's exactly the word meditation is a very popular word, because world is burning, so much of stress around, so much of anxiety and things. How people are looking, hey, look here, let us get to mental development. Now we inherited that through Buddhism. Be happy about it. Whether you live in New South Wales in Australia, whether I live in Sri Lanka, or whether I live in Timbuktu, whatever it is, this message is universal. And remember, mindfulness in the way of developing your mind is called meditation. Now, do you get the link very well? We spoke of consciousness, we spoke of subconsciousness, we spoke of the mental formations, then we spoke of mindfulness, which is part of the consciousness, but onto the link to the good sides of it, then developing your mindfulness towards concentration. Why? Because this fellow's speed is faster than the light 30 million times. With a scattered brain, or what's happening to all of us for the last so many years, we listen to Dhamma, we meditate, but that's it, we let it go. So my invitation you to is, the whole world is burning. Don't keep this bhava existing for long. Buddhism is flourishing. Buddhism is still there in the world. Today, even on electronic media, I could address you. Be happy with that. And hurry up as time is running out. So when it comes to meditation, there are two types of meditation. There are two types of meditation. One is tranquil meditation, samatha bhavana. When you say tranquil meditation, it is the concentrated state of the mind. It is the unshaken state of the mind. It is peaceful state of the mind, and therefore undefiled state of the mind. You understand? That's its samatha. Tell me which gym or which club or which book who would give this, who would give you the concentration, unshaken state of mind, peaceful and undefiled. My dear, you are the author of it. You have to do it. Your husband, your parents, your child, or your best friend can't do it for you. Even your best friend, your husband meditates so well, still you will not catch it, because this is swakato, bhagavata, dhammo, sandittiko, akaliko. Results are here and there. There's nothing hidden, no hidden agenda. It is timeless, not time-bound. It has no relevance to your caste, creed, your gender, or whatever it is. And it is so sublime that it's open for debate, and the wise would understand. Nothing taken, nothing to pray and take it. It's not the times that you pray. It's not the offerings that you make. It's not the money that you spend. It is the quality time. Remember the word, quality time you spend on to nurse your mind. You understand? Now, Sajota and the new Visakhans on New South Wales, check yourself. What is the quality time you spend for well-being of your mind development? Have you spent it? No. If it's no, please start doing it from tomorrow. Because the 1 hour, now it's almost 1 hour, closer to 1 hour. During this 1 hour, it's body and mind is not the same thing which you sat down on the chair 1 hour ago. This is a very sensitive statement. Don't get fear psychosis to you, but this is nothing but true Dhamma. Because mind and matter keeps changing. Let us take that subject under Vipassana on next Saturday. but understand what tranquil meditation is. That we would practice, try to practice in the next few minutes what we have. Then there's something called insight meditation. That is called intuitive insight. It's the on impermanence of the things of the universe and unsatisfactoriness, misery of the conditions. And if one understands the uncertainty and the unsatisfactoriness, you will understand there's nothing to grab at me, myself, or I am. That's the beauty of Buddhism. That is where your what so-called continuous existing stops there, and that message is given by only a Samma Sambuddha who appears to this world in millions and millions, once millions of years. So we are fortunate that we are in the time, and therefore, in that sense of understanding impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and impersonality situation, one has to, with a developed mind. Now, if Sajota wants to cut what I say, not a cake, she has to cut something hard. The knife she used has to be very sharp. Am I correct? If you're trimming your hair, your katura or your scissor can't be a blunt one. Then you will never do the hairstyle well. When you cut something, your knife has to be very sharp. If you slice either whatever it is, very fine slicing for a salad or whatever it is, the edge has to be very sharp. Like that, your mind, which takes responses from the six sense doors, and the way it runs, we discussed, we have to get the guy to some discipline, and that's called meditation. That's development of the mind. Two aspects. We spoke of tranquility. Now we are talking of insight meditation. Then with that sharp cutting, person keeps understanding what is material form, what is feeling, what is perception, what is mind formation, what is consciousness. That called five aggregates, Panch Upadana Skandha. That's what exactly you see. If I develop the mind, first day I would have got excited seeing the Upasika Sajota, but no more. Why? For me, she is the Panch Upadana Skandha. She's five aggregates there. Ashini is another Panch Upadana Skandha who was introduced today. So now don't go around and tell your husbands that there are five aggregates and that you don't have to look after him. Don't get into that extreme. But this is the wise thinking. So then something happens, we don't howl, we don't cry, we don't bang our head on the walls, we don't end up at psychiatric for counseling, because you know what exactly has taken place. If somebody is dying in the family, you know the five aggregates are getting to their nature where it belongs to. The consciousness is released as an energy, because we studied now, we learn consciousness is a process of the mind, which is a flux of the universe. The material also like that. The entire body, whether female, male, animal, or any body which has arisen to this world, is four basic elements: earth element, liquid element, what do you call energy element or fire element, and the air element. Where are those things? Are they in the cupboard? No, they're in the universe. That's how it rains, that's how it's sunshine, that's how winter, summer, all these things. That's how flowers come on the trees, that's how fruits are produced, that's how we eat. We eat and we keep quiet. No, we give it back to the nature. I will not talk about Sanchi. You build very expensive units in your house to do that. That's your washrooms and toilets and all that. We put it back to the nature. Put it back to the nature. It's a cycle. It's a whole carbon cycle. Irtu niyama, bija niyama, kam. See how Buddha has explained. The law of the nature of the genes factor, law of the nature of the nature factors, law of the nature of karma. Every action has opposite reaction. He includes that there. And the next thing is the nature of the factor, law of nature, which is come to chitta. See, mind is also niyama dhamma. It doesn't belong to us. It's a flux of the universe. Understanding, if one living as a human being, having controlled his mind, developed his mind, he moves to vidarshana, and ultimately he realizes the five aggregates. In other words, mind and matter is a flux, and therefore mind and matter is impermanent, unsatisfactory in condition, and is impersonal. There's nothing called me or me, I am there. Just because one realizes, you don't have to run into the jungle. You can spend a very fine life. One who understands, if you develop vidarshana, you will be the best wife on earth. You will be the best husband on earth. You will be the best colleague where you work. And you will be the best friend. You will never play out your friend. And you will be the best child, because you understand, you live with the reality of life known. That's what vidarshana is. Trust that situation explained most of the questions raised by Sajota. Then let's go into a little bit. Time is running out. That's what we will lose time for real meditation. How many meditative subjects Buddha gave for tranquil, which we are trying to practice today? There are 10 subjects given. The 10 kasinas, 10 recollections, recollection of Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and about death, about the body, and about breathing. Then sublime abodes, loving kindness, compassion, altruistic joy, equanimity. Then 4 immaterial space, that is called arupa, unbounded space, unbounded consciousness, nothingness, neither perception nor perception, that called nirodha sanya. Then perception of loathsome of food, what you eat, where, live, all these things you keep perceiving the loathsomeness of this, and analysis of elements, that is how the material form is made out of the atoms, the molecules, neutrons, protons, plus and minus in the present terms. But Buddha said that patavi, apo, tejo, vayu, varna, gandha, rasa, oja, and it goes on like that. It's a terminology is different, but the same thing what the science says. So therefore, there are 40 meditative subjects which will fit into your character. I told you all of us have an inner character. Sometimes if somebody asks, recently somebody asked, what's your character? I said, I'm a raga charita. Sensuality goes in me first. Then there are dvesha charitas, who get mad at everything, who can't associate people, who get annoyed at everything. That dvesha charita. And there's a moha charita, however much you say, they always think in terms of self and all. And like that, there are so many instances. In the old canon, you don't get these characters, but later the masters, having developed, having experienced, in easy to guide situation, they develop into characters. But this 40 meditation, this is what I said. When you meditate, you must always meditate it under a guru. Let it be over electronic media or personally. Meditation is always one-to-one, remember. We are getting to electronic media because there's no other way. Best thing would have been you are coming here, or I come over there, spend some days, sit down, and or any other meditation master in New South Wales, go sit and start meditating. Or catch it today, the glimpse of it, and start doing it on your own. So those are 40 meditative subjects. We will take few on this session, but later, if there are other sessions by Visakhans, we'll try to go into detail. Then, what is this called concentration? What is tranquility? Is we said concentration. What exactly you do when you concentrate on breathing? What you do? There are 5 stages to reach concentration. One is very easy, taking the meditative subject. Taking the meditative subject by your mind. Second one, sustaining that thought, which is the most difficult thing. Sometimes scan your life and days, events, and see very difficult to sustain because mind keeps changing. So second stage is sustaining the thought. If somebody sustains the mind which runs faster than the light, what happens? There is so much of rapture and joy within you. You can't explain. Text try to explain this, but this is a personal experience. You feel so calm, so relaxed, and so detached inside yourself. That's called rapture and joy. It's a state of the mind of that person at that time. That juncture, it leads to concentration. Your mind is stilled and your mind is fully concentrated on that subject and it's not running anymore. What happens? It's like the taming of the shrew of Shakespeare. You have controlled you have stopped your mind. That's, if you stay in that status for a long time, it's called absorption dhyana. That's one question Sadhguru lays. What's dhyana is? Dhyana is being able to stay in that thought, concentrated thought for a longer duration. You understand? More you develop your concentration, you get to absorptions. With absorption, your mind becomes very calm and sharp. Your scattered status of the brain is no more. You start seeing things well. Just like we'll say there's something beautiful you to go and see. We'll say, Pujiyama, I don't know, Australia, they took me also around. They showed me, they said, you're going to see Blue Mountains, and we travel. And I can show thousands of blue mountains in Sri Lanka, but not lit, nicely paved, you understand. And they took us to see a waterfall, and there's a tiny little waterfall after traveling for hundreds and hundreds of miles. What happens? That's exactly the meditation is, that you have to stop. Now, if I have to see blue mountains, if I go in a train with 100 miles per hour, can I see that beauty? No, I can't see. If I move near Siripada at 100 miles per hour, or Mount Fujiyama with sakura flowers, all that beauty, or if I move near a rose garden very fast, can I see the beauty? No, I can't see. The vehicle has to be stopped, or I have to let go of the vehicle and I have to get down. That's exactly is meditation. That's exactly is concentration. What happens with concentration? So that question was, what are the benefits of tranquil meditation? There are 5 hindrances. There are 5 hindrances. When you say hindrance, it's something blocking you. It's not something blocking you. Sometimes you are angry, you can't think properly. If with anger you make a curry or something, there'll be more chili powder or something like that. Something like that. Or you overbake it because you're angry with the whole thing. So like that, what happened? There are 5 things, hindrances, which blocks our mind, which will not help us to sit and concentrate. If you have not started meditation, these 5 fellows have grown up so much that you need time to control only through meditation. First one is how taking the meditative subject. What stops you? It's tina midda. It's sloth. What is sloth? You are drowsy. Now, I'm sure if I go on for another next 2 hours, you all started falling asleep, nodding away. In meditation sessions in Sri Lanka and overseas, most of the time, if there are 100, 25% start nodding in the first 15 minutes. Not even started. But at the end of the day, you come out and say, oh, I had a very nice session. But only the person, master who is in front, know who meditates correct, who who are drowsy because your body starts shrinking, your head starts nodding, you are in your subconscious in action. So therefore, remember, taking the meditative subject, first thing, what could prevent you is the sloth, the drowsiness. Number two, sustaining the thought. What blocks you sustaining the thought? It is the doubt that sustains you. Am I doing the correct thing? Is there any other thought? Rather than sustaining the thought of breathing, I will sustain the thought of my boyfriend or girlfriend. I'll think of my child, or I think of the best actor or actress, or I think of the best food that I can eat tomorrow. What happens? That is happening because your mind has the skeptical doubt. All humans have this. Next thing is what blocks rapture now. If you take the subject, then you sustain the subject. What disturbs is taking the subject is your drowsiness. Sustaining is a doubt. Then it gives to rapture and joy as the door to concentration. That is blocked by ill will and restlessness. Ill will. Your character, your mind is unending revenge, unending of hatred, unending of competition. Then that will block the joy. That's why most of the people said, I can't meditate for a topic. Most of the people say, no, I want to do vidarshana because I can't concentrate. Why? If you go deep into it, Buddha, of course, will see it through this divine eye. We don't have developed that. But if you see to them, your conscious is the best judge. Don't depend on Buddha or your master to tell you what to do. You put your consciousness correct. What's going wrong in me? I'm guts out angry with that guy, and that's a thing preventing me to achieve my joy and tranquility. And I'm restlessness. I'm worried about the past. I'm worried about the wrong I did. I am worried about the future. I'm worried about tomorrow. I'm worried about insurance. I worry about my whatever payment to bank in Australia. If you buy a house, you have to pay until you die. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just nature there, I'm sure. And then things like that keeps worrying you, restlessness. So therefore, your rapture, which is the doorstep for concentration, get disturbed by ill will, and the fine joy, your mind enjoys before concentration, disturbs through restlessness, and final is the concentration is get disturbed by sensual desire. They are the culprit. So if somebody could concentrate, Swajota's one of the questions is your sensual desire is overpowering. You need to control that. How you control that is through sila, that is you get to virtues. You have to get to virtue in the sense improving your whatever habits, and you call it pancha sila, dasa sila, and taking precepts or in according to whatever religion. There are conditions put to control the behavior of a human being. You have to adapt to them and refrain from doing unwholesome things. So that's exactly then what is concentration, the 5 stages of the mind, and what prevents that. Then it goes to concentration, distinguished to 3 grades. Once you get into concentration, there's something called preparatory concentration, parikarma samadhi. That is at the beginning of the mental process. It's parikarma samadhi in Pali, preparatory concentration. Then there is neighborhood concentration called upachara samadhi. Concentration is approaching but not yet attained. It not yet got to the first absorption, but you have hit at the concentration. That's called upachara samadhi or neighborhood concentration. Then at that moment, some of the devotees see light, see something like a bright star or sun. That's an indication that you have, your mind is getting to concentration. Finally, attainment of concentration is that he has got into the absorption. Arpana Samadhi is you are at the absorption called dhyana state. So remember, your tranquil meditation has 3 stages: the preparatory concentration, then neighborhood concentration, just before you get to the concentration, and finally the attainment of concentration. Now, there was a question asked, what are the benefits of tranquil meditation? What are the benefits of tranquil meditation? Now, tranquility, I'll go fast because time is running out. Tranquility is unperturbed, peaceful, and lucid state of mind attained by strong mental concentration. It aims at the attainment of the meditative absorption. It's a high degree in tranquil concentration, though not necessity that the absorption. No need to go to absorption, but arriving at the tranquility itself, you are at a higher degree of tranquil status and is indispensable for insight development too. Tranquility frees the mind from impurities and inner obstacles and gives it greater penetrative strength. If you want to write down, please write down, because that's the benefit of it. Tranquil meditation, called Samatha Bhavana, tranquility frees the mind from impurities. See, what is the gadget you have in the markets to clear that? No equipment in the world. Only meditation clears your impurities and inner obstacles. That I did this, I'm a bad guy, I did this mistake happened, all that worry goes away. And it gives a great penetration to strength because that is indispensable to move to insights. Vidarsana doesn't come down from the sky. One has to develop the mind so that you can understand its instincts of condition of mind and material, which is Vipassana. We'll deal it at the next stage. So also there are some science developing. If you practice meditation, tranquil, in the brain there's something called prefrontal cortex. That area nearly improves does it decision-making ability. Either work, Sajota as a mother, or as a citizen, it decision-making, how to manage your funds. What is priority, what is not priority? What are needs, differentiating between needs and wants? All that is done through this prefrontal cortex. With meditation, what happens? It improves the decision-making ability. This is what, if you meditate well, you will never be a dementia case when you are old. All these nervous sicknesses will not get to you because you keep developing decision-making ability. Then there's something called cerebellum. These are medical terms. I'm no medical guy, but cerebellum. If that's normally, if it expands, what happens? There's so much of fear and suspense. When we get scared, when there's so much of suspense, like what's happening in the world due to this pandemic, and you see Australia lockdown, people get on the road and said, no lockdown. Here in Sri Lanka, we queue up for vaccination. There they said, no vaccination. See, one world is behaving too differently. And their police comes and say, be within, but we get, no, this is our right of living, right of freedom, and they keep on. Where the rights of women exceeded the limit, divorce rate went up to 60%. Get it from me. That's all women, sorry, not the subject. But that's because you overrate your rights also. You overdo with your rights. Buddha said always get to the center, don't get into extreme. So therefore, if this cerebellum in meditation contracts, and then a fear and suspense is as a very low edge. See, what can you use any medicine to do that? No, it's through meditation that it happens. Then there's something called hypothalamus. When it contracts when there's stress. It contracts when there's mental harassment. And it balances the body temperature. And finally, immunity, which is the subject of the day, immunity. In tranquil meditation, hypothalamus expands. They have proved it. What happens? You control stress. You are no more stressful guy. Your memory improves. It's good for people who are studying. And it's also good as a housewife or mother or whatever it is. And then it balances the body temperature. You are not sick most of the time, and your immunity increases. Those are the physical benefits of meditation. But before what we spoke is the spiritual benefits about the undisturbed, lucid, peaceful, strong mental concentration. What are the powers of tranquility? It's one-pointedness, that's concentration. You take the subject and you stay at the subject, non-destruction of the mind due to freedom from desire. When you are in one subject, when you keep, what happens? The desire, there's a huge freedom benefits, so that it's freedom from desire, where no any other exercise would provide you. We keep desire is up to our deathbed, and that produces next samsara state. But in order to be, there's a moment you are free from desire is when your mind is concentrated. Then second benefit is freedom from ill will and perception of light, as I told you, which leads to joy and tranquility. Non-distraction is a defining of phenomena to knowledge, gladness, and non-destruction of the mind. Again, I'm telling you are free from scatterbrain situation, and there's proper chemical balancing in the whole physical structure. So those are the benefits, and the sort of through the tranquil meditation, because present day people want to know always, if you invest, what is the return? So Visakians, most of the questions, what are the benefits? What are the benefits? Sir, please tell what are the benefits of this? You want to know benefits. So I think I took time to explain all that, and that leads us to meditation. Now, Sajota, what's your time there? That's according to that time. It's about 4:30 here.
Swamin Mahansa, it's 8:58.
Okay, so we have about another, we start 3:30, 4:30, another 1 hour. Let's move into a practical session of tranquil meditation. Let's learn from A onwards. Number 1 is to meditate. Your posture matters a lot. What matters? The posture, sitting straight, either on a chair or recommended is on ground in lotus position. And if you have arthritis and all that, you can't sit fine, then get to a small comfortable seat. And if you have spine aches and all that, leaning against is good, but in real practice, leaning your back is not allowed. But present day, with how the human body is getting weaker, you can rest your back on the chair or whatever, but sitting straight and keeping your head straight is very, very important for tranquil meditation. More than vipassana, tranquil meditation posture is very, very important. So number 1 is normally you start with taking refuge under Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. If you are a Buddhist, if you belong to another faith, you can always say your prayer or hymn during that time. And that brings, when you take refuge under the triple gem, we call it Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge under Buddha, I take refuge under Dhamma, and take refuge under Sangha. To seek end to this bhava samsara and to end this suffering. Now that's where you start. If you are keen practicing it, please in front of the screen, other than the persons who are monitoring the technical aspects of this Zoom discussions, others have to sit up, stop writing, and get to practice the tranquil meditation. Sit back, sit straight. If you have other music and all going in the outside, please stop that and put your cell phone aside. Don't try to answer it. Don't try to meddle with it. What messages are there, you can do it later. Now, that's the first step. Sit straight, keep your head and body upright, and you take refuge under Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, being a Buddhist, or any other faith. If you believe a certain personality or unseen God, you can think of such situation and go to refuge for a moment. Then, with that, you move to taking precepts or recollection on the morality. Now, we are not talking of the past here. We are not talking what happened in the past. We are not talking of what's happening in the future at this moment, in front of your screen, now. Now contemplate, reflect this way. At this moment, I abstain from killing and taking life of others. Please think in lines of that. At this moment, I abstain from killing and taking life. At this moment, I have abstained from taking things not given to me. You're not going on a robbing spree now at the moment. At this moment, I have abstained from sexual misconduct and being restrained in all senses. What you hear, see, smell, taste, touch, all those things you have put to a side. You are restrained. Now you are training your mind to restrain from sensual desire. In that, sexual misconduct is part of that. Therefore, you are free from all that at this moment. Then, at this moment, I have abstained from false speech, creating disharmony among others through gossip. See, at this moment, you are not gossiping. You are not scanning through your social media. You are not seeing what other people are doing. You are not putting likes or dislikes to that. All that is out. And therefore, your speech doesn't create disharmony, neither to the members under your roof at this moment, nor to the human world. Then you have abstained at this moment from partaking liquor, drugs, which cause intoxication. Your mind is very clear. It's not influenced through liquor, or your heartbeat and the pulse rate is not high due to intake of liver. Your heart functions normal as it's designed. That's this exactly where your mind is resting now. It's called virtuous life. Recollection on morality. You are recollecting the morality. See, your mind is very wholesome state. You spoke of, when we spoke of mindfulness, sati, we called it, it's a lofty, beautiful mind condition. You will experience it. You are not doing either body or mind any harm to any living object under this, in this planet. You are not robbing anybody or bringing discomfort and sadness to others. You have not taken intoxication and other things which will influence your thinking. Your mind is therefore calm, serene, as your mind is on the entire virtuous condition of behavior. Now, with that, we are coming on a very long samsara, and also in this life, sometimes without our knowledge, or because we are prompted by our friends and our beliefs, we sometimes blame, insult, and find fault with the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, or whatever religion you believe, whatever unholy treaty, or whatever it is, and to Arya Pudgala, people who follow that path, we criticize, we blame, we insult. That, although you have not done it this birth, sometimes in previous births we have done. Now, recollect very well, concentrate very well, and now we are getting our mind free from such kind of opposite reaction, cause for blame, insult, and finding fault of whatever faith you follow or whom you respect. Think on these terms. If by deed, speech, or thought, heedlessly, I have done anything wrong, please forgive me. O Master, O Teacher, the great wise, the Buddha. O the Dhamma, immediately seen and timeless. O Sangha, noble ones who have taken the right path unparalleled. O my teachers, my parents, any lay folk who have attained this path by consciously or unconsciously, if I blame, insult, or found fault in my long past samsara or in this life, please forgive me. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I thank you for forgiving me. May you all have happy minds. That free your guilty conscience of insult and blame. That makes your mind some more calm. Now, there's a way to build protection within yourself, because there are so much of evil forces work in the universe which prevents such development. In Pali, you call it Aham Buddha Parayano, Dhamma Parayano, Sangha Parayano, Viharami. May I rest on Buddha as my support. May I rest on Dhamma as my support. May I rest on Sangha as my support. I live accordingly at this moment. Viharami. on this planet Earth is burning from suffering and desire, I rest on Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, or any divine I believe as my support to develop myself and to be free from this suffering. Based on such power vested in the Triple Gem or any divine you believe, may all obstacles and dangers obstructing to my mental development be destroyed. May the force of evil Mara influence fade away. Buddha Ratanam, Dhamma Ratanam, Sangha Ratanam, Tinham Ratananam Anubhavena, Sabbhantarayo Vinassantu, Sabbhe Mara Palayam. That's the Pali term for it. So based on such powers vested in the Triple Gem, may all obstacles, danger, obstructing to my development be destroyed, and may the evil force of influence of the evil force of Mara fades away. Now your mind is gathering the tempo for calming down. Now bring the mind, which runs faster than the light, onto this posture that you maintain at this moment. On your chair, on your ground, or if you are a sick person on bed, whatever posture, bring your mind, the running mind, to that posture. For that, when you bring the mind to the body at the present moment, that's called this moment. Settle your mind on this moment, this moment, this moment. Now, start scanning from this moment onto the past. From whatever the past you remember as a child up to now. Up to now. It's a sequence of mind and matter arising and passing away. Let it be wholesome, unwholesome, good or bad, all such activity from the time immemorable are either five aggregates or mind and matter which has existed and passed away. Now, since you are calming your mind, it's very evident you can't grab hold of something which has arisen and passed away. So what is the best thing to do? Let go the past. Let go the past, lock, stock, and barrel. Good, the bad, your worries, everything, let go the past. Such a fine feeling. Your depression, your stress has no place to stick. Now, from this moment where your mind is on your body, there is called future to arise. There'll be a tomorrow. There'll be a next 1 hour to come. But that is yet to come. What is future? Future is mind and matter which has not arisen. It has not arisen. Because mind and matter keeps arising, passing away at each moment. Therefore, can you grab something which has not arisen? No. The mind is calm now, you can't grab it. Therefore, let go the future. Future makes you always restless. Future creates a lot of stress. Therefore, for this moment, let go the future. At the same time, it's not a factor to say there was no past, there was a past. Please don't meditate thinking there's no past, there was past, but you can't grab hold of it. So therefore you have let go the past. Future is something would definitely come, but in deep thinking, mind and matter has not yet arisen. Therefore you can't grab it. Let go the future. Where else to go? You have only this moment to arrive at. Past is gone, future yet to come. You have let go on both. Now bring your mind to this moment. This moment, what does the mind grasp? Mind grabs your body in posture. Now, bring that mind through virtues which has calmed down. For begging forgiveness, it has calmed down. For resting on your belief or Buddha Dhamma Sangha, you live accordingly. That has calmed yourself. And you have let go on the past, let go of the future. Now bring your mind to this body, to scan the body. Bring the mind which is at this moment on top of your head. Top of your head. Scan the body from mind this way. Top of the head, the face, neck area, shoulder area with two arms. Gather how the arms are placed one on other, on hands apart. Position of the arms, shoulder area, the chest area, the abdomen area, the hip area, the two legs, knee joints, calf area of the legs, ankle, end of the feet. The toes at the end of the nail. Now your mind is at the toes of the body. Now you scan upwards, toes of the body, end of the legs, ankle area, calf area, knee joints, two legs, hip area, abdomen area, chest area, shoulder with two hands, arms, neck area, face, head, top of the head. That completes the body scan. Now, mind which scanned the body, keep scanning for the next 1 minute or so, head to toe, toe to head, until there's a mental image of this position created in your mind. You will very well get that. There's an imaginary posture comes to your mind when you keep concentrating from head to toe, toe to head. Commence now. Head, face, neck, shoulder, like that. Keep on going to the toe. From toe, you keep coming upwards. Now, your mind is concentrated on the body. With this cool, relaxed, calm moment, keep this message mentally. May all the glands, its secretions, each and every cell of this body, including the minute particle of this body structure, be calm, be relaxed, and be in good health. Be relaxed and be cool. Assure that relaxation would not take you to drowsiness, sloth, and sloth. Without moment the message given to the brain that you are relaxed, drowsiness may come in, but this mental exercise is to prevent drowsiness, but to be calm, cool on the body, because your mind rests on the body. Mind associates the body. You calm the mind, being unattached to future and past. You thought of virtuous situations. You beg for forgiveness. Your mind is calm. Now relax your body. Body is calm. May my entire body be calm, relaxed, and be with good breath. You feel the bliss within yourself. There's a world outside which is in tormentation, but your body and mind is calm, serene, and relaxed. With that state of mind, we request, this is a requisition on the meditative subject. Don't recite this from the mind, keep reciting. From the mind you recite, not by words. Bhagavantam bhante jivitam parityajami dutiyam pibante jivitam parityajami tatiyam pibante jivitam parityajami bhante sansar vatta dukkato mochanatthaya kammattanam yatami. O Master, the Teacher, the Great One, I offer thyself to you. For the second time too, I offer myself to you. And for the third time, I offer my life unto you. I beg from you a suitable meditative subject, Kammatthana. May your holy guidance be there with me. If you are of another faith, concentrate on the faith that you believe and beg suitable subject for meditation. That sort of Guru Upahara, or entering into the tranquil meditative subject. With that request, let you move to Buddhanusati, recollection of the Buddha's virtues. Again, if you are of another faith, think of the virtues of the divine you believe. It's Mother Mary for her kindness, love, and all. But if you are a Buddhist, think of the virtues of Lord the Buddha. Blessed one is accomplished. Now recollect on these words. Blessed one is accomplished. Araham. Blessed one is fully accomplished because of remoteness and as enemies of defilements, pleasure is destroyed. The spokes of the sansaric wheel was destroyed, and he is worthy of offerings from human and divine. Also, he maintains absence of secret evil doing. Rahasinvat paunakarna se. Swami Nipaktivatum Vahansa. Oba Vahanse sielu kelesun nesu hinda. Keles saturan jayagatta hinda. Sansara chakrayage arasindalu hinda. Rahasinvat paunakarna ehin. Araham namvana seka. You are accomplished. Blessed one is fully accomplished. Keep on reflecting on that term. Araham, Araham, Araham. Also, the blessed one is fully enlightened, Samma Sambuddho. Buddha is endowed with clear vision and virtuous conduct, Vijjacharana Sampanna. He is sublime, Sugato, as he is free from eternity and annihilation belief. He is also the knower of the world, Sloka Vidu, and he is the incomparable leader of men to be tamed, Anuttaro Purisadam Sarati. He is the teacher of divine and men, Sattva Deva Manusanam. He is enlightened, Buddha, and he is the blessed one, Bhagava. Such qualities of the Buddha is endless, limitless, and infinite. Buddha Guna, Anantai, Anantai, Anantai. Keep reflecting that the virtues of the great master, who is fully accomplished, fully enlightened, has endowed with clear vision and virtuous conduct, sublime, the knower of the worlds, the incomparable leader of men to be tamed, the teacher of divine and men, fully enlightened and blessed one is the Buddha. Therefore, virtues of the Buddha is endless, limitless, and infinite. Take your mind to the infinite of the virtues of the Buddha Guna. Anantai, Anantai. Reflect, say. Reflecting on the master and the virtues adds more calmness to your mind. Now we will move into metta meditation, the divine abiding, metta. Again, focus your mind onto yourself. Reflect like in these terms. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free of suffering. May I keep myself free from enmity, affliction, and anxiety, and live happily. Keep on concentrating on you. May I be happy. Go to the meanings of these words and create that status in your heart. May I be happy, healthy, free of suffering. May I keep myself free from enmity, affliction, and anxiety, and live happily. Keep on focusing on you, on those terms. May I be happy and safe in a short verse. May I be happy and safe and healthy. Now check your consciousness. May my heart and mind be free from fear. May my heart and mind be free from hatred and resentment. May my heart and mind be free from revengeful thought and enmity. May my heart and mind be free from sudden anger, taraha. May my heart and mind be free from sorrow and anxiety. Keep on contemplating. May I be happy and safe. May my heart and mind be free of fear, free of hatred, resentment, free of revengeful thought and enmity, free of sudden anger, free from sorrow and anxiety. Your mind is approaching loving kindness because your mind and heart is now free from all ill will. There's no hatred, no enmity, no revengeful thought, no resentment, no anger, no sorrow, and no fear. Therefore, may my heart and mind be filled with loving kindness, metta, just as the Lord, the Buddha, just as a mother who would cherish her only life unto her life. May my heart be filled with loving kindness. Generate metta in your heart and mind. Due to metta, may my heart and mind lead to compassion, my skill to feel for others when they are in trouble. May there be compassion built within me. May I be compassionate. May the loving kindness and compassionate state of mind leads me to altruistic joy, which means your ability to rejoice at the joy and success of others, which is a very rare human quality. Build that skill within you to rejoice at the joy and success of others. Cultivate mudita in your mind. Your mind is free from all ill will. Your mind is overpouring with compassion, loving kindness, compassion, and it's an altruistic joy. That leads to equanimity, upekka, the state of tolerance. State of tolerance. In the human world, you come across people with different character, different behavior, different personalities, different values, and different way of thinking. Amidst all such calamity, may I develop upekka or equanimity, being unshaken through outside behavior. Keep looking at your heart and mind. It's totally free from all ill will. Therefore, mind is calm, cool, and you are free from all hatred, enmity, resentment, ill will, sadness, and sorrow. but your heart and mind is overpouring with loving kindness, compassion, altruistic joy, and total equanimity. It's such a bliss to lead the mind to loving kindness, compassion, and to equanimity. There's so much of light within your mind. There's so much of ease in your heart and so much of relaxation as ill will has been submerged or kept it low, and heart and mind is full of compassion and loving kindness. That status of the mind you have in your heart now touch the whole universe with that loving kindness. Touch the whole world, whole universe with that. Pervade the loving kindness, equanimity, and sympathetic joy towards all beings, and focus the universe this way. Beings who are visible and those who are invisible to me. Beings who dwell close to me inside this, my residence, neighborhood, and beings far out there living in the universe. Beings who are friendly, neutral, and who are hostile. Beings with many limbs, 4 limbs, 2 limbs, and beings without limbs. Beings who are in the vicinity of death, especially times like this. Those who are born and those who are seeking birth in formation within an egg or within the mother's womb. Such you cover all kinds of beings. Then move gently to directionally pervading your loving kindness. Focus on the directions, beings who are dwelling in the eastern direction, Nagenahira Disa Bhagavad. Beings who dwell in the southeastern direction, beings who are living in the southern direction, beings who are living in the southwestern direction, beings who live in the western direction, beings who live in the northwestern direction, beings who live in the northern direction, beings who live in the northeastern direction. May all beings in these all directions and beings living upwards direction and the downward direction, may all beings in the entire direction be happy, safe, and free from hatred. May there be loving kindness and compassion throughout the directions. Now focus on the beings living in the premises you are meditating, your family members, your friends, or whoever it is under the same roof. May they be happy, safe, and healthy. May beings in the adjacent premises, in that village, the towns, provinces, and beings living in the country where you live, or in the island where you live. Beings on earth, dwelling on earth of that land, beings who live in the sea, and beings who dwell in the air. May all beings on this planet Earth be happy, safe, and free of suffering. May there be no enmity, affliction, anxiety. May all beings on this planet Earth be happy and safe. May the Milky Way, the galaxy where this planet Earth is on, may all beings on this galaxy be happy and safe. Tens and thousands of such galaxies consist of the universe. Now focus on the entire universe. May all beings, not letting a single being out, may all beings on this universe be free from pain and misery and free from affliction. May they be healthy and be happy and be safe. And may all beings live happily and safe. May there be compassion, loving kindness, and joy and peace prevail on this entire universe. Shanti. This status of mind, maintain it, having focused the entire universe, not letting a single being out. May all such beings be happy and safe. That's the ultimate meditative subject you are taking. Sustain that thought, entire universe, all beings, may they be happy and safe. Sustain that thought in mind. That brings you so much of joy and tranquility in the mind. As your mind is not affiliated with ill health, ill will. There's so much of loving kindness and compassion prevailing. There's so much of calm, coolness, and tranquility, which will lead to the concentration of loving kindness. Keep concentrating on the loving kindness over this entire universe. Now, slowly withdraw from that beautiful calmness which your mind has reached. That's exactly mindfulness leading to tranquil state of the mind. Your mind is calm. Your mind is undisturbed. Therefore, the mind is sharp enough to reach wisdom or to analytical knowledge of the universe. Slowly withdraw, maintaining the calmness. Such brings to the end of the practical meditation time, because time is running out. It's almost 5:15 here local time. 2 hours have gone. We didn't have time. Next stage is to concentrate on the breathing. That is the most useful tranquil meditation session. Although next session is on Vipassana, We will try to commence with breathing tranquil meditation. Just as homework, same way, sit upright, bring your mind to the place where under the nose, you can touch from the finger, the end of the nose. These days it's not that you have to wash your hands properly. Under the nose, upper lip, on the upper lip where under the nose, you can't take your mind there. Having washed your hands well, you can feel from your finger the position which I'm showing. Don't know whether everybody could see that. Bring your mind to that point. You call it parimukhaṃ satiṃ upaṭṭhapetva. You bring your mind in front of you to a place and you maintain it there. Next stage is, at that point, you feel inhalation and exhalation. You feel the air is going in and air is coming out. That's the meditative subject you're going to take. Remember, there are 5 stages, taking the meditative subject. Keep focusing on breathing in and breathing out, because there's a point where such breathing is felt in the nose. Sometimes it will be at the end of the nose. That depends on the position, posture, and the shape of your nose. Sometimes in the middle of the nose, sometimes at the end of the nose. There are some meditative masters who go up to the stomach and concentrate pimbenua, hakilenua, expansion and contraction of the stomach. We don't administrate that because the old canon under the Bodhi tree, what Buddha recommended is what we are directing now. Bring your mind to one pointedness, and there's breathing taking place. It happens automatically as a body condition. You have to not strive and determine and get into tired situation. It's happening naturally. You concentrate on that. The word is taking the meditative thought. That's the first stage in tranquility. Then, having done that, you sustain the thought on breathing. That's a difficult thing. If you are not a trained guy, your mind keeps running out, but let it be. That means you are healthy, your mind is running out, you are not dumb. But that's not what you are trying to do. You're trying to bring this guy who runs 30 million times faster than the light to one point. It's a Herculean task, but don't give up. Keep trying. That's called sustaining the thought. When you keep sustaining the thought, the original sort of nature of the breathing, by its physical entity, or through the touch you have the mental entity, start relaxing. At the beginning, you feel the breathing in, out situation very sharply and grossly. Sustaining it, what happens? It keeps calming down. You call it pasambhayankaya sankara. Kaya kiyanne metana rupa kalapiyo sansidana. It's relaxing. In actual terms, your breathing is calming down. Sometimes you may not even feel it's touching the nose, but yet breathing, you're still on the breathing because you have achieved, you have sustained the thought. That gives rise to joy and tranquility, which we spoke about. Joy and happiness, which cannot be described by words. That gives you so much of calmness because your mind is about to get into concentration. Thus, the mind start staying at the point where breathing in and out is felt and your mind is not running anymore. That's called the first degree of concentration, samadhi. You can get to that and maintain for 1 minute, you are great. If you can keep that for 5 minutes, you are very skilled. You are very skilled. You can keep up to 15 minutes with your training, half an hour. You have got into absorptions. Dhyana. The state of concentration, as we discuss in theory, is your mind is fully detached from sensual world. The world you live, you eat, drink, see, all that is gone away. The mind which runs faster than the light has reached one-pointedness. That is the development, highest development of the state of mind, which is called tranquil meditation. That leads you to absorptions with slow and steady progress. Don't worry about absorptions. Proceed to vidarshana, a reasonable samadhi, reasonable concentration. You are even able to stay 1 minute on the sustained thought and feel that joy and bliss and get to one-pointedness where your mind is free from the entire outside world. You have done the job. You are into tranquil meditation. You can keep mastering day by day. And all the physical benefits, what we discussed through brain activity, calmness, unaffiliated situation, stress being completely out. All such mundane benefits are reaped. And finally, the status of the mind which leads you to wisdom, which you can't buy from any shop in the world, or you can't transfer it through an account, you have achieved. May the Visakhans and all other devotees, faithful devotees affiliated to Visakhans of New South Wales who joined today, develop this tranquil mind up to concentration. In a world where it's burning at this moment with this pandemic, death, war, disaster, and stress. World is burning, but your mind has reached the supreme calmness. This is the advice of the Buddhas. Sabbha passa aparanam, kusalasya upasampada, sachitta pariyodapana. See, your mind is free from all unwholesome status. Mind is free, has grasped the wholesome state through this 2-hour exercise. And finally, sachitta pariyodapana, the 5 hindrances we spoke. The letharginess or drowsiness has gone, therefore you took the subject in. Then your doubt has gone away, you sustain the thought. Your ill will has gone away. There was so much of joy and bliss within your mind and with your concentration. You kept away all the sensual desire, even for a spur of a second. Imagine you are developing it for a few minutes and hours. You have achieved what Buddha wanted the human to achieve here and now. Let us lead to Vidarshana. The mind has developed in such form. It is concentrated. It's like that knife we spoke, which is sharp at the edge. You can focus into reality, which human will never focus and achieve in this desirous world. May we end the session with this, with the blessings of the Triple Gem, with the protection of all divine, whom we convey this merit we generated in this disastrous time in the world, trying to escape from this Bhavasansara through the electronic media which is present to us. May whoever invented this electronic media technology may reach peaceful state of moving out from samsara, because thanks to them, we use the media to practice Dhamma. May who all organize this session, especially so much of pain to line me up, especially Tamara didn't allow me at the first session because my health didn't permit it. In a scenario where the whole country is locked down due to this pandemic, still today we were able to attain the bliss and understand what mind is, what subconscious is, what is mental formations are, what is mindfulness, how it leads to aspects of mindfulness, local mundane mindfulness, which will help you to be skillful in this life, plan personality, objective personality. But mindfulness in spiritual way is nothing but achieved through development of the mind, which is called meditation. And thus, we practice the forerunner, how to start, like a marathon race, like an athlete to come onto the track. He doesn't run at once. He will stretch his limbs, jump up, exercise, watch where the wind is coming. Then he goes to his mark. He doesn't start running. He says, on your marks. That's what you did, taking the meditative thought. Gets ready to sustain the thought. And then he said, go. Then he runs and get to the winning post. You did the same thing by practicing tranquil meditation. So much merit was gained by listening to Dhamma. You and I are separated from this vast ocean, miles and miles away, but we all rejoiced in Dhamma and enjoyed the bliss of Buddha who declared his people human being to achieve. So Bohoma Ping, a great merit to Sajota and the Visakians of the New South Wales for organizing it. May you all be happy and safe. May your family members be happy and safe. May all you be free from pandemic disaster. May your professional standards, your career, your income may not be disturbed with this disaster. May you all be protected. May you all progress in your lay life, in your profession, the studies of your children, the marital bliss of your children and your friends, and may you all be safe and happy, and may you have the merit to reach Nibbana in this life or very soon while this Buddha Sasana exists. Sielu, oba sielu dena, sielu satvayot, niduk veva, nirogi veva, suapat veva, santa suve pat veva. Sabbhi tiyo vivaccantu, sabbarogo vinassatu, Mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata. Sabba buddha anubhavena sabba dhamma anubhavena. Sabba sangha anubhavena. Sada sutti bhavantu te. Again, there were some questions which I didn't answer. One was, what would advise someone who wishes to practice meditation to achieve liberation? I spoke about that. We discussed that study, practice, and realization. Pariyatti, pratipatti, prativeda. And the effort one has. Can someone achieve liberation, nibbana, what? Without using meditation, we spoke of that. For that, you have to have accumulated a lot of kusala karma in your past birth. Like the subject we spoke about, the subconscious, very instinct subject, you have to have that kind of background, but it's not compulsory. So what we should have to obtain Nibbana is the effort and the steadfastness. Like today, what we had, steadfastness. Here and now, stop everything and concentrate and lead to bliss. How can someone incorporate meditation into their day-to-day life, walking, sitting? That's exactly what Vipassana is. We will deal next time when we do Vipassana. With tranquility alone, this concentration doesn't come. We spoke about layer light mindfulness. That could help you in that aspect, incorporating mindfulness to their day-to-day life, not meditation to day-to-day. Meditation leads to development of the mind. Then advise young adults who would like to begin the practice of meditation. My answer to that is just check how many times and hours you spend maintaining this body. How many hours you spend moment you open your eyes. Advice of Buddha is think that this is Buddha Kala. Your faculties are intact, that you are a healthy person. Now, moment you open your mind, you touch your Android phone and watch the messages. In the toilet, you watch it. In the train, you watch it. Parents keep watching it. They neglect the children. Just scan on that. How much of valuable time on this planet Earth, which is getting destroyed fast now, I'm spending to maintain my body. Through that, the young people feel their hormones are in highest of action. So you have to enjoy life, music, dancing, association, or whatever it is. Enjoy food, enjoy life, but at the same time, spend some time to yourself to develop your mind. Then you'll be a very fine young guy who will not be stressful, who don't have to take pills for stress, that you don't have to go and see a counselor when there's some job issue comes in, or when your partner gives you up, or something sentimental happens, you don't have to run to the psychological treatment. That's the advice given to young. At least spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day to reach tranquility in the mind. Advice to the young adults, time is passing away soon. Time is running out. So try to be virtuous, study Dhamma, get to concentration, and get to Vipassana, because time is running out. If you perceive the world correctly as per Buddha, as 5 aggregate mind and matter, that is uncertain, unsatisfactory, and selfless, you'll be the best husband, you'll be the best wife, you'll be the best friend, you'll be the best child, and you'll be the best colleague in office, and you'll be the best citizen that country could have. Those are the benefit comes to you, and there'll be you will not experience dementia, you will not experience all those stress-related sicknesses. And even today, the favorite subject, immunity, not comes from more than what you eat and drink. It is the strength of the mind, immunity. hormones are released when you relax and you are calm. So those are the questions you answered. Anything related to Vipassana or today, if you have questions, Sajjhota can ask. I don't think time has passed. Or write to me, we will answer that time. With questions, what you try to do is, please develop your mind so that you are not a scatterbrain when you die. Even you die and reach Bhava, you will be in good life, in wholesome state, not in the suffering state. May you all be happy and safe. Sajjhota, are there any questions to ask? Time? I think time has run out. Yes. So we will conclude the session. Abhivadana silissa niccam vaddha pachayino Sattaro Dhamma vaddantu ayuvanno sukham balam ayurarogya sampatti sattva sampatti me vacha ato nibbana sampatti iminatu samittatu. Looking forward to meet on next Saturday on a Vidarshana development exercise and some theory on Vidarshana. We will remain. I would part from this discussion. Boma Ping Sajjhota for the session.
Sasha. Sad. Swami Hansa, we are very grateful for your kindness in sharing your knowledge of the Dhamma with us today, especially in relation to meditation, especially in relation to Samatha Bhavana. Meditation is something close to the lives of many people, and we are very grateful for your time and effort you put it to us today, sharing your thoughts about it. I especially appreciate your advice to us in relation to how we can make mindfulness and meditation relevant to our lives. We are very grateful for all your time and effort. In relation to today's event, I thank and acknowledge the kindness of Mr. Premalal Gunatilaka, who helped us to advertise this event. I sincerely thank Mr. Charita Rajakarna, who helped us to connect with Sri Lanka today. I wish to acknowledge and thank fellow Visakians and everyone, including our friends and families, who helped us to organize and advertise this event. I thank the committee members of the Visakians of New South Wales for all their efforts into make this event a success. Most importantly, I thank each and everyone who joined us and connected with us virtually today, and for taking advantage of this valuable opportunity. We look forward to seeing you all again on the 28th of August. Thank you. Sad.
Everyone, Saranai, see you.